Friends and fellow gamers, welcome back to Adventure with Roger. Today we're going to be covering the newest update of New World. Now let's address the big elephant in the room, shall we? Roger, why haven't you been covering New World all along? Well, to be completely honest with you guys, I don't really have that much faith in Amazon. Up until now, they haven't released a single game noteworthy of any kind from their own studio. They've probably had the biggest amount of hype surrounding them from any studio currently, and they pretty much have an unlimited budget, which means that they can hire anybody they want pretty much to make their game as epic as they want. Does that make me a huge skeptic? Well, maybe it does, guys, but remember, you're talking to somebody here that's been playing MMOs for the past 25 or 30 years. I know I don't look that old, thank you very much. More than anything, I want New World to be a great game. What I don't want it to be is a gigantic pay-to-win fiasco like Black Desert Online, where you have to basically pay $2,000 out of your own pocket just to keep up with everybody else. It just doesn't seem like a fun thing to do to me. And let's face it, we have a bunch of new Eastern MMOs coming over from the East this year, and I pretty much guarantee those are going to be a gigantic pay-to-win fiasco. So why do I need another one that's being developed from Amazon to be the same way? We just don't. So let's keep our fingers crossed that it's not going to be. So what's it gonna take to get me personally and you guys on the New World hype train? Well, for me personally, it's very simple. I am so tired of boring theme park MMOs. I'm so tired of grinding my way through needless, unfun content to get to an end game that's just not great. I mean, let's take the newest World of Warcraft expansion, Shadowlands, for instance. I've played World of Warcraft since it's come out, through thick and thin, and to be honest with you, right now in Shadowlands, my character is level 59, and you know what? He's gonna stay that way, because every time I log into World of Warcraft, I literally fall asleep behind my monitor, and I feel like I get so drained from trying to play that shit that it drains my will to want to live, and I just fall asleep. It's just so not fun. At this point, Blizzard would literally have to pay me to play their game, and I'm just not gonna do it. I just refuse to play something I'm not having fun playing. Lucky for WoW, they still got the hits, and coming out with TBC might have just been the thing that's gonna save Blizzard from becoming a second-rate whatever. I gotta be honest with you guys, the reason why I'm starting to cover New World now is because I'm really excited about the aesthetic of it. I think it's a really great looking game, and if they can connect with the player themselves on not just like a fun thing to do for a few hours and it just feels like a reskinned MMO, but if they can really connect with us in a way where we have an experience and it's player driven and we feel like we're connecting with other players, that's how I think New World is really going to become great. Let's face it, guys, we're looking for the future of MMORPGs. We're not looking for another reskinned theme park MMO, am I right? I want to get into this New World video right away, but before we get started and hit that play button, please consider subscribing to the channel for more game related videos several times per week. I really appreciate you being here. Thank you, and let's get started watching this video.
Hi there, I'm Scott Lane, game director on New World.
What's up, Scott?
Open world MMO from Amazon Games. In New World, you'll be up against the haunted wilderness of Eternum, a mysterious island set in the twilight.
Look how beautiful
of
it
the age
is.
of exploration. There's going to be massive siege battles and thrilling supernatural invasions, all of this in the midst of a stunning and diverse island. Before we go any further, I'd like to give you a little bit of background on the island, the characters, and what to expect while you're navigating Eternum. You start your journey as a navigator aboard a ship destined for Eternum, who survives a terrible crash and awakens to a strange new world. It's full of both wonder and horror. You find yourself immortal, but you quickly learn there are fates far worse than death.
I love how he's all dressed up on the New World hype train. He's got the New World hat on and the New World shirt. I like how he's represented. It's pretty fun.
Humans of this lost continent are in a constant struggle against themselves and a threat growing in power, the corrupted. Eternum is a supernatural island with an eternal conflict that causes shifts in its balance of power. The corrupted, the lost, and the angry earth are in a constant struggle for control. This conflict is at the root of our universe. Over the last century, the pendulum has swung in favor of the corrupted with the rise of the Tempest, the architect of an apocalypse that seeks to unmake life here and target the old world next. Only you, the player, are capable of uniting the warring human factions to face your common enemy that is hell-bent on taking over the world. There's a mixture of main story quests and side quests that lead the...
Look at that, how beautiful it is. Look at the bricks and the shadows and the aesthetic of it. The sunlight coming in through the trees and the tower there. It's just a great looking game. I feel like they're so close.
Player on their journey through Eternum, where the central question is, what is the price of eternal life? On your adventures, you'll meet characters who have adapted, struggled, and succumbed to the power of this place. You'll discover ancient secrets, make powerful allies and enemies, as well as learn that not all is as it seems on Eternum. Last summer, thousands of players joined us for a preview of New World, and they offered us a ton of great feedback. What we heard most was that players wanted to see more mid and endgame content, as well as more opportunities for PvE. That's exactly where we focused our efforts. We're excited to show you some of that today. To bring more PvE content to our players, we introduced Expeditions. These are 5-player instanced experiences that take you into the darkest corners of Eternum. You'll face extreme challenges, expose the Angry Earth's hidden agendas, reveal the threat behind the lost, you'll dig into the mystery of the ancients, and you'll uncover more about the source of the corruption. Your team will need skill and coordination to overcome these challenges. Each expedition has unique mechanics, bosses, and loot, and each one has its own story to tell.
You know what? I really love the Holy Trinity in MMORPGs, and I gotta tell you why real quick. One thing that bugs me more than anything when I'm playing an MMORPG is when you're going through a dungeon and there's literally 4 different people trying to tank. It just bugs the hell out of me, and I think part of it is because I like to play a healer class, but there's nothing worse than like 3 people running off in 3 different directions and pulling 2 groups of mobs at the same time, and you're just like, what is going on right now? And a lot of newer MMOs trying to reinvent the wheel make it so that there is no Holy Trinity. It's just everyone is kind of their own tank, and you just pop a bunch of healing potions all the time. I'm not a big fan of that, honestly.
We'll have 6 expeditions in the game at launch, and here's a look at a few of them. AMRINE Excavation, the first expedition you'll encounter in New World, takes place in a dig site just west of AMRINE Temple. This is where famed archaeologist Simon Gray and his team have gone missing. Your party's going to need to venture into the depths of the dig site to discover what happened to them and to the ancient technology they unearthed. You'll encounter the Empress of Ebon Scale.
That ship is pretty cool.
Shipyard. She's been building a fleet of warships and must be defeated for the safety of Eternum and the world. In the Garden of Genesis, one of our endgame expeditions, you'll explore...
That's a really cool looking monster. Look at that. I like the roots. It looks like he's just an ancient protector or something.
Or the garden where the Angry Earth are born. The garden has been infected with a mysterious blight that must be stopped before it spreads to the rest of Eternum. You'll need to face the garden's protectors in order to purge the blight and begin the garden restoration. These expeditions are just a sample of what we'll have in at launch, and there will be much more to come in the future.
We've also added 2 new zones to New World since preview. First, we have Abanscale Ridge, filled with lush wetlands.
I absolutely love the look of this place. That is so pretty.
And majestic waterfalls and towering cliffs. It's a mysterious area in the northwest of the map, home to an exiled empress named Taiyang. A bright young woman once destined for greatness, the empress is now building an army of corrupted forces to reclaim her lineage and her rightful claim to the throne. Rickwater is a rundown fishing village overrun with brutes, pirates, and the other undeads. Originally imagined as New Venice, the settlement was built on the submerged ruins of an...
So, is it just me, or is it always hard to get around in swamp-like maps? Let me know in the comments what you guys think. Every time I play on a swamp map, it feels like I needlessly have to go like way around a certain area or something like that, but this one looks really nice, I gotta be honest.
Ancient residential district, but quickly overtaken by the Siren Queen and her flotilla, capturing the remaining settlers of Rickwater into her crew.
Villains.
Of course, a mysterious supernatural island wouldn't be complete without some villains. One of the most recognizable faces in New World is that of
Isabella.
a red-eyed woman wearing a glowing amulet as she overlooks the island. As you may have already guessed, she is one of the most challenging enemies you will encounter in Eternum. Her name is Isabella. Countless warriors have tried to seize the amulet from the heart of the land, but every time they were overmatched by the corrupted and the island's powers and turned into...
Not me, man. I'm gonna run right up to that thing and be like, right on. Thanks for the power.
the corrupted themselves. The Siren Queen is a figure that many will come to know after visiting the shore of Rickwater. Much about the Siren Queen is yet to be revealed. I don't want to spoil too much, but I can say that she and her crew originally arrived at the island seeking to create a new land in which all people could be equal. And somewhere along the way, she lost her soul. So we'll leave it at that, and I hope you enjoy your first encounter with her as you explore what Rickwater has to offer. In Abanskiel Ridge, you will come face to face with a ruler like none you've ever seen before, the Empress. After fleeing her homeland and her envious half-brothers who sought her throne, she arrived in Eternum alongside her loyal followers. Now she continues to cultivate the island's power and transform her loyal followers into her own army with the intent of returning home to exact her revenge.
Alright.
When the first explorers came to Eternum, it was unoccupied. But over the time, the explorers, or what's left of them, have populated the island. Little is known about the ancients, but you will see evidence of their long ago.
I want to know if there's a reason why all the statues have that like line right down the middle of them. It's sometimes one that goes sideways, you know? I wonder if that has something to do with like the power going up and down through the statues or something. It's really an interesting thing that I've noticed about almost every single statue that they have in this game so far.
Existence on this island, and perhaps over time you will learn more. The corrupted are immortal and twisted servants of an ancient and mysterious force of madness and destruction. The lost are soulless, immortal, undead beings, caught between life and death in an endless cycle of pain and torment. From the mindless, withered corpses to powerful ghosts fueled by elemental rage, the lost are a constant reminder that eternal life still has a price that must be paid. The angry earth are pure expression of nature infused with the power of Ajath. They are wise and docile creatures, but fearsome and...
They don't look that docile to me. No, I just play it. When they're not trying to kill you, I'm sure they are very docile.
Powerful guardians of the natural world when provoked.
Weapons!
Skill-based, action-oriented combat is at the core of New World. In New World, your positioning, timing, and aim all make a difference. And our classless combat system means the weapons you choose will define your playstyle. As you use a weapon, you'll begin to master it, and you can further customize your weapon by choosing which abilities you want to specialize in. You can also select from a variety of passive benefits that affect the tactics of combat. At launch, we'll have 11 weapon types, including our newest addition, the Ice Gauntlet, which harnesses the elemental power of ice for powerful magic attacks. The weapon options in New World are especially interesting because of the Age of Exploration setting. Gunpowder has emerged, but it hasn't yet become dominant, so New World offers a great mix of melee weapons, ranged weapons, and magic weapons.
And I know that they were talking about how they were working on the thing where, you know, when kids were playing the alpha, they could equip like 3 weapons at once. They'd have like a bow and a big hammer on their back, and they'd be using like a big sword, but the cooldowns were just messed up to the point where there was really no point in carrying around all 3 of those weapons. So I'm thinking that they did something with that. I'm pretty sure they did. So hopefully, if you can carry around 3 weapons from now on, you can actually use them instead of, just using one and then having to like get out of combat or something and then switch and then actually have it be valid or whatever.
As Scott mentioned, expeditions are designed for groups of 5 players. Teamwork will be required to make your way through, solving puzzles and battling challenging bosses. When you enter an expedition, you'll want to make sure you have a healer who can restore your party's health, and a tank to hold aggro and control the flow of battle, and some friends ready to quickly dispatch the enemies. And don't worry, New World still has all the PvP that players have come to know and love.
Yeah.
Whether you're challenging a rival in a duel, competing in a 20v20 outpost rush, or jumping into an all-out 50v50 war, or just enjoying some friendly combat in the open world.
So one big pet peeve I have about almost every Battleground MMO is the siege engines and how boring they are. I feel like hopping into most siege engines and most MMOs nowadays is just so boring. It defeats the purpose of actually using one to try and kill people. So hopefully they've found a way to make them interesting enough to where people will want to use them.
There are plenty of opportunities to test your mettle against other players. I hope you've enjoyed getting a closer look at expeditions and some of the other new features in New World. Our closed beta will begin on July 20th. You can pre-order to secure a spot in the closed beta or sign up at our website, newworld.com, for a chance to get in. On August 31st, New World will launch for PC. The launch is just the beginning. We have a lot of plans for future content that we think you're going to love. We'll share more on our post-launch roadmap later this summer. Before we wrap up today, I'd like to thank those of you who joined us in the alpha or preview. Your feedback has helped us shape New World, and we want to keep hearing it. Together, we can make Eternum a place that you won't want to leave. We can't wait to see you there.
Guys, August 31st, that's like gonna be tomorrow. I mean, that's like a that's a short period of time. I mean, this year's flying past, man. Q&A.
Hey guys, it's Jeff Keighley, and I am here at Amazon Games in Irvine with...
Look at how awkward they look, man. Why don't they just like grab a chair and sit down? This guy on the left looks like he's standing up against the board plank or something.
Scott, it's good to see someone in person and do one of these interviews. We're fully tested, and I gotta say, you guys have been testing this game for a number of years, working on it and building it. And I just wanted to start by asking you, what has kept the team motivated through all these years? I know this past year has been so challenging to make games, and you guys had a lot of players in it last summer, have been building on it. What's kept you going all these years?
First off, thank you so much for coming.
Yeah.
It's great to see you. There's been a lot of things that have kept us going. We love the lore. We love the story of Eternum. We love to just be able to tell that story. But for the last year, it's been watching the players play the game, reading the feedback, engaging with them, and
That's
trying
cool.
to understand, where they want us to take the game and how we can get it there. So when the team's in the forums or in the game and chat, watching and talking to players, it just pumps us up. It's fun. It helps us.
Well, these games are obviously built with the audience, and exactly last summer it was great to have all those players in there. As you said today, you guys have been...
How do I put this? MMOs were not always built with player feedback. There's lots of, possibly the best MMOs of all time have been built with zero player feedback. And I know that's not how it's done now, but maybe it should be to a point. I don't know. I have mixed feelings on it.
Building a lot more content and refining aspects of the game. From a top level like New World, what do you hope it adds to the MMO genre? Like, it's an amazing genre. There are fans that don't just spend tens of hours; they spend hundreds of hours in these worlds. What are you hoping this game adds to the canon of MMO games?
Well, I think there's a few things. One, we're building this beautiful world, and I think our graphics bring a different dimension to the MMO genre. They're a little more realistic.
Yep, 100%.
And it helps us with the storytelling that we're trying to tell from about Eternum in this time generation.
Yeah.
But the combat is the big differentiator. You bring that modern graphics in with the action combat, and it creates a whole experience that you can just get lost in.
And this setting for the game,
Cross fingers, guys.
So beautiful, but also so unique. Take us back to kind of the genesis of this project and New World, and this setting. How did it come about? How did you guys land in this? Because this is, brand new IP, big decision about where you were going to set this game. How did that come about?
Well, we love the idea of the age of exploration. We always say it was the last gasp of the sword and shield and the first breath of the musket or the gunpowder. Yeah. So we thought that was a really cool time period. And we wanted something around there. And when we came up with the idea of an island lost in time, Eternum, and thinking about all the different visitors that could have come there through the years, chasing immortality.
Yeah, we're looking for Last of the Mohicans with magic. That's what we're looking for, guys.
Mortality, not realizing, what they were really going to get with it, and how we could tell that story in an island. We all just kind of fell in love with it.
Well, it's an amazing setting, and I know how hard the team has been working over these years to build this game. Last year, you had a lot of players, as you mentioned, in the game, and you've been building it based on their feedback. And you talked a lot about, in the video today on the sort of mid to end game content, how you've been adding a lot to that. I'm curious overall, though, from sort of a macro level, like how has the game changed in the past year based on player feedback?
Yeah, for sure. So outside of the big changes we've talked about, all the new content, we really took to heart a lot of the feedback we heard in the preview. Spawning systems. So in the game first, when players were playing on the beach, there was all kinds of issues with not enough enemies, this and that. We've revamped the spawning system.
That's good.
Combat. There was people didn't like as many of the interrupts as we had. People thought there was too many different weapons you could have equipped at once. They wanted a little more differential in the combat trees. So we've done a full revamp on mastery, and then crafting. We've done a complete overhaul on crafting. We've added a lot of depth.
I don't think it was that you could equip too many weapons, because you can never equip too many weapons. I think the problem was that they were sharing a cooldown was the problem. And so there was no point in switching weapons because it wouldn't do anything for you.
You can now craft endgame materials, right, that compete with stuff you can find in the world. There's discoverable crafting ingredients, and there's just a lot more to do with all those systems.
Yeah, I love that this game continues to evolve. And one aspect that you've been evolving over the years is the PvP aspect. Tell us a bit about that, because, 50-player war, I mean, it's like there's a lot going on there, 50v50, things like that. Tell us, what can we expect from a PvP aspect of the game? And I know it's opt-in to do that too, right?
It's fully opt-in. So our vision for the game is to create a world where PvP and PvE not only coexist, but they complement each other. That starts with the territory game, where you can own different territories, and that's decided through the PvP part of the game. Once you own those, you can set different rules for the territories, things like tax rates, or you get other benefits like, if you own connecting territories, you might be able to access storage.
I guarantee there's going to be that one guild that gets into power that sets that tax rate up as high as it'll go.
Or get fast travel. And then ultimately, anyone can choose to fight in the war, and that's an opt-in PvP as well. But we've also built the game with the PvE player in mind, and we want the PvE player to feel that they can have a full, awesome experience without ever ticking the PvP box if they don't want to try that.
All right, so something for everyone inside of this. And I know in a world this vast, there's a lot to build, and I love that you've created all this additional content over the past year. We know that, there's going to be a beta in July. People are going to get to sort of jump in again, get ready for launch at the end of August. I'm amazed that not just for this team, all these game teams around the world have been able to build games, in a work-from-home scenario. What has it been like for you guys to have, the alpha working from home and then building all this content? I mean, it's a tribute to all these.
It's got to be a lot.
Has it been any different for you than normal?
It's got to be a lot.
Yeah, you have to learn how to communicate differently. You have to develop new muscle memory, as we say, or skills to do it.
Yeah.
But it's challenging because you lose out on those. You're in the cafeteria or the kitchen getting something to drink, and you hear two people talking about a feature they're putting in. Like, oh my God, I didn't know that exists. That's so cool. How can I hear more? So you lose some of that, and you have to try to find ways to get it. But even like the other day was
especially with a team as big as theirs, right, guys? I mean, I bet they have 100 people working on this game, and there are people that just have no clue that there's a certain thing that's being developed, and they hear about it through like a Zoom meeting, right?
First time I've seen a couple people in over a year. And you see people on camera every day, but you forget, oh, you're tall, or you're this, or you're different than me. And it's just been it's been a challenge. We've added a lot of ways to overcome it, but coming out of it now, which it feels like we are, I hope we are, I'm really excited to get everyone back together and
And celebrate launch, hopefully in person, right?
Exactly.
Well, Scott, before we go, I have to ask you, the internet has certainly been talking about this game the past few weeks, in relation to the idea that is it a pay-to-win game, and you know, fans that have invested time in this in the alpha or will be investing time.
I bet you $10 he doesn't give you a straight answer. It's like a kind of a round. He's going to go around it.
Time this year. I think want to feel like they really can earn their way to the end, and no one's going to be able to sort of artificially accelerate their way to a lot of the other content. What can you tell us about that? How are you guys approaching, you know, this concept?
Well, we've tried to be as transparent as we can with the players, and we continue to do that. So with that in mind, you know, we're going out and we're building a game that has a very level playing field. That is super important to me. It's super important to the team. When we launch, we're only going to have cosmetics for sale in the store. Over the next, you know, several years, the game is going to grow and grow and grow.
Yeah.
And we're going to see where that takes us.
He went around it, guys. No, I got to be honest, though. One thing that Amazon is doing right is releasing this kind of content for people to watch and people to spread it around and talking about their game. It doesn't matter if it's good or bad. It's the fact that they're talking about it, and this is something that so many of the top companies out there making MMORPGs are not doing. They're not putting people behind the camera and saying, this is what we're doing, this is the direction we're going in, and it just drives me bonkers.
And I will say, last year you guys put out this alpha, and sometimes I feel like alphas come out and they're just marketing events and the game is kind of coming out anyways. You did the alpha and then really went in and have spent the past year retooling a lot of aspects of the game, pushed it a whole year based on the community feedback. Really.
The right decision.
We took it to heart, and I hope it comes through for everyone when they see and hear what we're showing. And like I said, we revamped the combat, the crafting, the spawn system. We've added all of this new mid and end game content, all because of what we heard from people in the preview and in the alpha. So yeah, we're trying to, it's really important to us to watch, listen, and actually absorb what people are saying, and then try to show that in the software.
No, and this is, you know, new IP from, you know, Amazon, you know, studio that's just getting into a lot of this stuff. Like, I think it's a huge endeavor, and I think a tribute to you and the team that you guys have built this. And this summer, it's finally time. It's looking great. So beta coming in July, right?
July 20th, yep.
July 20th, and then release August 31st. So
for sure.
The summer of New World after many, many years. And I know it hasn't been easy this past year, especially to develop the game. So thanks to you and the team for inviting us in, although all the teams at home, you and I are hanging out here, but they're working hard, and we can't wait to check out the game, New World. Thanks again, Scott. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
So I really like that Scott guy. He seems like an upfront individual, and he just doesn't seem like he has any reason to want to pull any wool over anybody's eyes. He seems like a nice guy. What do you guys think? I gotta tell you, man, that video really makes me want to play New World. I think it's going in the right direction. I think they have a beautiful world, beautiful aesthetics. If they can just nail down the player interaction and not make it too theme parky, and get people to coordinate and build the world in itself with the guilds or clans, and you know, the more player interaction the better. I hate to say it, but this video has already taken quite a bit of time. That was quite a long video, so do me a favor, guys, give this video a big thumbs up. Let me know if you'd like me to continue covering stuff like this. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed already. I really appreciate it. August 31st is coming up fast, guys. Let's get ready for it. I want to say thank you again. My name is Roger, and I'll see you on the next adventure. Take care of yourself, everybody.